Folks, believe me, one of my biggest supporters, people, his name's Jose. He lost his all his money trading forex, and so he got a part-time job as a male stripper, wearing a horse costume, people. But he made $100,000 in a single forex trade earlier this year, and then he also had a lot of big losses later in this year. And folks, believe me, folks, we're going to talk about it. It's going to be tremendous. So I introduce you to Jose. How are you, Jose?
Always great.
Amazing. Show the people your real face. Let's see who's really behind this mask. Jose, I introduce you to Jose. A round of applause, people. Now, one thing we're going to talk about here in this video is the fact that Jose has managed to make hundreds of thousands of dollars this year so far. We're going to show you all the P&L, the screenshots, and everything. Then what we're also going to show you is we're actually going to show you how he was able to manage a bunch of losses as well. So we're going to dive straight into it here. And we got to kind of hurry up because me and Jose have both lost so much money this year trading that I have to go to my part-time construction job for $20 an hour because I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars trading. And Jose has to go quickly get to his job as a male stripper right after this call. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. For now, we're gonna get a little bit serious here. I'm gonna take off the hard hat, I'm gonna take off the vest, and we're just gonna have a raw heart to heart. And we're gonna start by going and inspecting the actual pudding because as the proof they say is in the pudding. So let's just go through a little bit of a P&L screenshot history here. We've got a deposit of 100,000 here. And when did you start this account, Jose?
It was about February, 6th of February, 7th of February or something.
7th of February. And this, how long did it take you to do this? It looks like we're getting here into March,
Mm,
April. So the end of April.
at the end of April, yeah.
That's crazy, man. And then what's even more crazy, so this was you little over doubled the account. Then you had, some swaps, commissions, it looks like, and then your withdrawal. And then of course over here, this trade here, which we're going to talk about, you risked 90 grand on that. That was when you entered that. Then you had another portion here where you added. So well, this was before you had added, but you had gotten right there. That was where you added. And then it ended right here with you concluded. You're like, you were sitting on a plane. You had to check your spotty internet connection. And then you made $100,000. Was this actually 12 hours or I think it was a little bit longer? How long did it take you to make this?
I'm not too sure because I was flying, so we had no Wi-Fi service over a certain portion leaving a certain country. So yeah, when we got over land, I started getting all these alerts. So I'm not too sure. Yeah, about 12 hours, something like that.
That that is so crazy. Yeah, because you had started the position and then you'd added to it. I remember you sent this to me whenever you started it. So this is what at my time it was 6:08 p.m.
Yeah,
And
so I actually set the limit order on the close on the weekend, thinking, no, that won't get filled. And then it got filled like in the last 15 minutes of the close on the Friday.
Mhm.
And then Monday morning, I was flying. And then I was literally walking through customs and had all my alerts going off. And I'm just like, fucking holy shit, you know? Got into the lounge and I just looked at this and I'm just like, this is wild. Entered a 50 lot and then jumped on the plane. Had Wi-Fi obviously for the most part, but then yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. And not only this, you've had some big wins, you've also had some big losses as well. Now we're going to go and get into all the
Of course.
details here on this call. If you were to sum up into one word how you felt going into a bunch of sell positions, back-to-back losses, closing everything just to see it do this afterwards. If you could use one word to describe how you felt when this happened, tell me what the word would be.
Hmm. I think the word would be validated, right?
Mhm.
Because the reason being is that my theory is correct, but my entry was incorrect. Okay, so my thesis on the trade is correct, but the adjustments needed to be made. So I went in too early and I went in too heavy. Yeah. So I think this was to do with the fact that I hadn't had a loss in like 4 months. And then yeah, went in too heavy, got too scared of the drawdown, and then yeah, only to watch it go up what's that, another 85 pips. and then to absolutely shit the bed. I mean, this would have been, if you look at it now, this would have been, yeah, 200K trade. I think I had 100 and something lots on that.
Easily could have been at least 200. Yeah, because it went all the way even further down
I
after.
went all along.
Absolutely
And the
crazy.
worst bit is this, right? What I do is I take notes of every trade that I take. I
Mhm.
put every trade to Evernote. I take a daily, a 4 hour, a 1 hour, and I put my targets and everything when I enter a trade and when I exit a trade. And this has just been a heartbreaker, to be honest. I still look at it to this day and think, fuck, that's a life changer. But here's what it is. You live and learn.
Very, very good. So, and you're somebody, if we're to, everyone's probably thinking to themselves right now, they're like, who the hell is this Jose guy? This guy with the sombrero and a mariachi band, but he has an accent, but he's also a part-time stripper wearing a horse mask. The people are probably really confused, Jose. So we have to back up just a little bit and give them some context here. If you were to explain in a very simple way the way that you trade, how would you characterize it?
Basically, the way that I trade is I look for, I don't want to sound like you, Nick. So I look for markets that are, yeah, they look like they've been on a run. They've been on a run, right? So once they've been on a run, I think, fucking hell, The thing about the forex market is supposed to be kind of like, I guess, stable. Like a currency is, it's a currency. So we shouldn't see these huge like 5, 6, 7% runs that we see like on crypto or other sorts of assets. So to me, if something goes up like a fuck ton, it's coming back down at some point, right? So my idea is you trade mean reversion. It's basically it.
So you just
Uh,
go ahead.
Sorry, man, go on.
So you said you trade mean reversion. So it's just you wait for the market to go one way, and then you just, I guess you kind of wait until you think it's about to twist back around and kind of reverse, and then you just enter. Is that it?
Essentially, yes.
Wow. So let me get, I'm just trying to put into words here. You mean to tell me that you buy when you think price is going up and you sell when you think price is going down?
Pretty much.
That is genius, dude. My God, I wish I'd figured this out in the past 8 years. That is absolutely genius. So, what a lot of people are probably thinking right now is there is this idea that the trend is your friend, right? Okay, we've all heard it, Why would you counter the market? The trend is your friend, until it ends. But, for now, the trend is your friend. You should trade with the trend. When the market's cascading in one direction, what makes you think that you know when and where it's going to stop? And how do you actually go about getting that entry and finding like where specifically to enter?
I've got no idea where it's going to end. Absolutely none. No idea where it's going to end. But the idea is you take the probability, right? So you can go back and have a look at the charts and you can see like, you know what I mean. So either it's going to go 5, 6, 7%. I doubt it. You know what I mean? Like you can look back through history and see how far it goes. So I mean, yeah,
So
it's
like,
very hard. It's hard to put it into words like how to like express what you see. I mean, I'm not against trend trading. You can trade trends. Like I'm open to any sort of trading. If you're profitable and you're killing it, no problems. Like I'm open to listen, like whatever. But this is what works for me.
Mhm.
And you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. With that said, I mean, I've seen you post some huge wins and also huge losses as well. You're up like a couple $100,000 on the year, and you're confident in the way that this works, as well as some of the losses being trades that actually ended up working out. But like you had said at the beginning,
Oh,
this you
don't talk
sighed.
to me about it.
Yeah, it probably eats you alive on the inside, knowing you could have literally made a quarter million to maybe 300K or a little bit more on like one single trade. Like that's just,
I actually think my account would be closer to $1 million by now.
yeah, it'd probably be to like at least 800, if not a little bit past it, had all those. played out. But even with the huge losses, right? Your huge wins have offset the losses, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But the beauty of it is this, right? You go back and analyze, like, I'm not one, like, I document everything. Okay. I document everything. Like, we talk about intuition, we talk about repetition, we talk about all this sort of stuff. But like, how is intuition earned? Intuition is earned through repetition, right? So for me, I go back and I study like every single trade that I take. I am in your Evernote and I take a screenshot of the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour. I write down how the trade plays out, where I'm adding a trade, why I'm adding a trade, you know. And then you know what I do? At the end of the month, I go back and add to every single trade that I've taken that month, how it played out. Was I exiting too early? Was I entering too early? All that sort of bullshit, right? And then what I do is that I tag the pair and then I tag the reason why that trade was shit. So like, did I enter too early? Did I exit too early? And you know what the correlation is? All my losing trades that have been hundreds of fucking thousands of dollars in the last 2 months, because the last 2 months, I think to date, I'm down like 206 or $7,000, something like that, has been two things. One, enter too early. Two, exit too early. That's it. So if I had managed my sizing correctly, it would have played out.
Interesting. And then let's say like on a percentage basis of the position size you used, what percentage of those position size would have allowed you to have actually come out on of all of this profitable? Would it have been a fourth of the sizing you used? Would it have been half of the sizing you used? What would it be?
It's kind of like a very tricky question because I sized based on the probability that I see of this trade playing out. So like, look at that AJ trade. Dude, I threw a fucking 50 lot on it, while I was sitting in the airport. I knew, I was like 99, like I will throw down my entire account if that doesn't fucking revert. Right? So yeah, I think my original entries probably, you know what I mean? Like, mm, yeah, you can see here, like, look at that. Like, that's coming back down. Like, I've looked at charts for a long fucking time, like a long time. Like, I know that's coming back down at some point.
Yeah, it looks like you had a sell here as well, and then you took profits there. Then we had this crazy spike up. You started a position, then you added heavy on this next spike up here. Um,
Look
this
at it. Like, look at it. Why would you not add? Of course you're going to add.
parabolic. So what you're speaking to the people watching this right now, they might be thinking to themselves, well, how did he's using words like he knows it's going to drop. He's saying things like, it has to drop. How could it not drop? Just look at it. What do you think makes you so confident in the outcome of this playing out such that you can risk such large amounts of money on trades like this?
Repetition.
Repetition. So you're saying that you've just
Simple. It's repetition, man. Like, it's like anything. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be good at anything, you got to put in the reps. Yeah. You want to be good at sport, you want to be good at, anything. It's repetition. Like, you see the same pattern over and over and over again in trading. Like, it's the same thing. You see these huge spikes that we just saw it. Like, I just got my nuts done on last Monday,
you're
180, 200K or something. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, I wish I had the margin. I would have I would have put 200 lots on that trade on last Monday. You know what I mean? Like, go look at EA.
This is very painful to watch.
This is on some retarded NFP numbers. You know what I mean? Like,
That right there is what took you out.
absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, that's what took me out. Yeah.
So
Come
what
straight back to break even. And the worst bit was I was this was a mistake on my part, was that I was in GA also heavy, heavy.
Yeah, so then both of those took you out on the crazy spikes.
Yeah, but GA was sitting at like about 75K profit before that spiked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had gone into profit the previous day, and then news release came out for NFP, and we slowly started trickling up. Then
I was on a live call with you the day before. I was up like 85 grand or something. I put it on the live call.
I remember you showing, yeah, you're up almost 100 grand on the basket of trades that you were in, because you were in multiple others as well. But this one alone, yeah.
That was the Thursday, and then the Friday I was occupied, and then I got up Saturday morning and I thought, fucking hell, what's this shit? Anyway,
So what we've got so far is you essentially you're waiting for prices to go, just they're waiting for them to just stampede in one direction. It's really far. And then at the point that you personally, subjectively, in your opinion, think it's gonna come back the other way and kind of like have a reversal, you enter a trade. So I want to talk a little bit more about this. Whenever you're entering a trade, a lot of people are probably wondering, well, what is your system for controlling risk? For example, some people use stop losses. Some people use like hedging. If they're wrong, they just hedge and it goes further, then they manage it at some point. Some people use DCA, so dollar cost averaging, adding into losing positions as a risk structure with it predefined. And then how do you go about your position sizing? Just walk us through like your approach to managing risk when it comes to trading, like the way you trade.
okay, so basically I look for a level. So from that level, I consider how far it could go. So from there, this is where I got burnt, you know. So I look for a level, how far it could go. And then I go back, I go back through the charts and have a look. I think, how far has it moved on the biggest spike that it's had? Okay, look for the biggest events, you know, you're looking at like 5, 6, 700 pips. How many times has it happened?
Okay.
It's probably happened like 1 or 2, 3, 4 times. You know what I mean? So the percentage is low.
Mhm.
So when you see something happen, like, mm, it's just probability. It's like, do you think it's going to go that high? Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, so I enter a position based on that. So then I look to see just how far it could go. And then I think, yeah, righto. So I add probably 100 pips, 150 pips. That's my first position.
Mhm.
So the first position is probably a quarter or a third of what I'm willing to risk on the entire trade. So
Okay.
then I'll look, okay. So then I'll look to add. I'll have levels where I'm going to add.
So
And
so
this is the point.
in a case like this, just to further expand on that, like levels where you're meaning to add at, like it in the case of this
Okay,
example.
so if it's a previous high, I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll go in probably not heavy. We'll probably go in with a tenth the size.
Okay.
So here, if like for the sake of easy mathematics, let's say for here, if I'm going in 100 lots whole size, here I'll go 10 lots.
Okay.
Next one I'll probably do here, I'll probably do another 10 lots. So now I'm short 10 lots. And depending on the pair, you have to calculate obviously how much it is.
Mhm.
And then if it goes like this, fucking hell, you're starting to look like, you know, how far up is this compared to like, has it ever been up there before?
Yeah. When it's
Has it
something.
ever been up there before? You know what I mean? Like, you need to have a basic understanding of currency markets. Like, they don't like, I mean, they do, but like they're always going to come back to some point. So yeah, the higher it goes, the more confident it is going to revert. So from here, I'd probably go 15, 20, like that. So, but what I do is I calculate out the worst case scenario. So if it's going to go 5, 6, 700 pips in my in you know against me,
Mhm. Okay. Um, I think
that's
I think it'd be fun. Let's whip out the trusty dusty random number generator here and let us go. We're gonna just find one trading opportunity. We're gonna make it completely random. That way you can kind of walk us through like how you go about this process. People can see what you wait for, how you sort of structure the risk and pre-plan it out. If it goes into drawdown, how you add to it, how you wait for entries. This way we can just kind of get a feel. 1 through 20, so pair number 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As luck would have it, it's fucking EA.
Fuck off.
Fuck.
Yeah, I actually went short on EA yesterday.
Well, this is going to be very funny,
That's
man.
fun.
I've clicked random bar. So this is in January of 2024. This is real recent. Let's go back to some other random point. Somewhere farther back where we September of 2023. It's
Change
not
the pairs. Too emotionally attached to this.
let's do another here. Because we already know that chart. Okay, number 6, USD CAD. All right, cool. We got no actually USD CAD looks like a great buy like right now. I'm gonna have to oh no, this is July 2017. All right. We're in July 2017 on this pair. Conveniently as it starts to look like there's a setup. So I'm in the replay mode right here. You just kind of tell me like, does there look like there's anything right here? Or should I just keep the replay thing going forward a little bit more? What do you think?
It's hard to tell because it doesn't have the history on the replay.
Okay, let's go to the daily and just kind of let this thing run forward a little bit more. So now we've got more of the history back here to like 2013, 2015, 2016. We can kind of get a feel for this. So anything here? Should I just keep it playing forward? This is the 4 hour.
Go back to the daily
Is the daily. Yeah.
and then stop scrolling so fast. I'll be looking at 1.2.
1.2.
Yeah.
Okay, so like you're waiting on it to break this low. You're not gonna buy it support. You want it to like actually
Uh,
dip below it.
yep.
That's interesting because a lot of people buy at support resistance, which is fine, right? You have plenty of profitable trading approaches that revolve around that concept, but you're like waiting for it to kind of break. Like there's this zone here, right? That a lot of people are probably buying at. That's interesting. Wait,
I'll add something. The whole thing that I've learned through like my mentors and everything is like don't put your stop losses or your entries where you think everybody else's is going to be.
very interesting. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, let's see if it actually gets there. Okay, so price is down here at 1.22. Now everybody gets to kind of see the action here. Everybody kind of gets to see how you're going to kind of structure risk. So let's put a few frameworks in place. Your average account size you trade with is anywhere from like 200 to 400 grand. Let's just say for the sake of simplicity, this account that we're in the little simulation thing here, let's just say this is $100,000. So walk us through kind of how you would approach taking this trade. Everything that you would normally do, you just tell me what it is and then we'll do it.
It's hard to explain it without just doing it.
Well, yeah, well, I mean,
Uh,
just
I
figure.
would go now. I would have a look and this is very difficult because I have a lot size calculator like on my MT5. Yeah. So I
Yeah, well,
just punch in risk and then everything's preset.
we can do the same thing here. How much would you want to quote risk here? Like, is there a position size or is there a dollar amount you want to risk? Like, how would it work?
At this point, I'd probably put in like mm,
Tell you what, let's
zoom
just
out, zoom out, and zoom out a little bit. Yeah, right here I put a 5 lot.
okay. So let's put okay, we'll put a 5 lot here, then we'll kind of drag the little tool around and see what it's looking. So
The issue is like I know in the back of my mind like how like the pairs that I trade, I already know what they are per pip. You know what I mean?
okay,
I've got an
sweet.
idea like 100 pips and whatever.
So with a 5 lot, if it goes down here and it knocks out, say like that low, or it comes down here, that's like a $25,000 risk. This is a $25,000 profit. Should we change anything about the lot size or about the stop loss and profit target? We can put them wherever you want. What should we do here?
Not yet.
Okay, so just like no stop, like is the position size fine or should we change it or is this
I would just let it grow for a minute.
okay, cool. So we got 5 lots. So what's gonna happen here if it goes into profit? Do you have a profit target in mind or does it just kind of depend and do you just watch it?
Just watch it.
Okay. And if it goes into loss, same sort of scenario?
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to the daily
Yeah. I guess we'll just stay on daily, right? For the
and
sake.
you measure how far that is from that recent high.
This one here?
No,
That one?
no. Was it like the middle of April or something?
Yeah, this is like August. Oh, up here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay, so
You're looking
1,000.
at you're looking at I don't look at the pips, yeah. I look at the percentage.
Yeah, so 7%, 13%. Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna click forward real nice and slow.
Hit it fast, bro. Hit it fast.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it fast. You're gonna have to be quick to tell me when to stop. So you've sat in this trade for like 3 weeks now. It's in $34,000 profit. I'm getting kind of nervous myself here. I'm getting kind of scared. Like you waited for the area where maybe a lot of people had their stop loss because it's below a support zone, but then you started your position there.
So right now, I know that you don't do this, but
Yeah.
like my position would be break even.
Okay. So we'll set a break even stop, right? Is that good? $2,500 profit, probably cover some swaps and commissions.
Fucking hell, you know my swap fees, man.
They're nasty. They're disgusting. They're disgusting, mate. The swap fees are terrible, mate. It's like getting punched in the face by a kangaroo. Bad.
You're Australian.
I,
Terrible.
yeah, it's horrible. It's bad. I completely accept it. People don't know if it's UK or English or Welsh or Australian or New Zealand, and most people
You're
just want to.
lucky I'm Mexican.
We're very lucky you're Mexican and that you're not from New Zealand or Australia or the UK because that would be very unfortunate. Fortunately for you, your Mexican accent sounds very interesting. So you've sat in this trade here for this is 50 days.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is this is quite a bit. You got the break even stop loss. Are you looking to do anything to this position, like closing it, or
They dropped down to the 4 or the 1.
we'll go to the 4 because the 1 hour might not take us back. It might not have data. So you're here on the one. You're here on the 4 hour. Here's the 4 hour.
I mean, would you sell?
I wouldn't sell. No, I probably wouldn't enter a
There's no
sell. Like
fucking way I'm gonna sell. I move my break even up to that previous high. If I get taken out, I get taken out.
here,
That's it. Up.
here.
That's it.
And so the idea would be like if the momentum continues, you just keep making more profit. But if it comes back to touch here, they'll just take you out.
Yeah, but who cares?
Okay. Wow. Who cares? $30,000 in one trade. Yeah. Who cares? Yeah. It'll be a big deal. So this has taken you out. Just out of curiosity, let's play it forward a little bit more. See what would have happened. So yeah, it would have come back, wiped out more profit. So that's very interesting position management. That is pretty crazy. How often on profitable trades would you say that you actually use things like break even stop losses and stops and profits?
Uh, Again, man, this comes down to repetition. It
Mm.
depends on like what I see with the market, depends on the price action, depends on like I know this sounds like a bit wanky, but like I feel like I can see the price action on MetaTrader charts on the generic default green on black. I can see what's happening better than I do on TradingView, right? So I follow my instincts, right? Because at the same time, I've recorded everything for fuck knows how long, a long time. And it's just repetition. That's all it is. And you
It,
get it wrong. Like you get things wrong, but like sometimes you get it right.
you get things wrong with zeros behind it many times. Yes. Very, very
Yeah. Fucking whatever.
mental fortitude. If you were to try to like give some sort of suggestion for people trying to figure out how to sort of emulate the way that you've gotten profitable doing this. Like you say things like, I track everything, I look at what happened, I look at what I did and what the outcome was, and then you claim that repetition is what really helped you, and then you develop this sense of like intuition, this some sort of skill where you're able to kind of decide what's appropriate to do given the moment or whatever the price action is. If you were to try to maybe like suggest how someone would go about getting all this and accumulating all that experience. If you were to try to put it in simple words, what would someone do to get to that kind of like area where you're kind of at right now?
Let's rephrase the question.
Mhm.
If you were going to be good at anything, what would you do?
I think we all know the answer. I
Yeah.
suppose like just get more experience. I mean, quite simple, I guess. What do you think?
Do the same thing over and over and over. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it's repetition. It's instinct. When it becomes instinct, it becomes intuition.
Mhm.
It's like one thing leads to the next. So like if you know what's going on, you know what's going on. But if you've never been in that situation before, you've got no fucking idea what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. So like trading is like, I don't want to say it's like life because that's wanky as fuck, but like uh I want to say like trading is like it's like a business. Okay. So it's like you see something over and over and over. When you're green as fuck, you don't know how to deal with that situation. But once you've seen that situation a few times, you know how to deal with it.
Mhm.
Okay. So you know, you're like you've seen this. It's like you've seen it before, so you know how to react. Okay. You've seen that chart pattern before, you know how to react. You've seen this chart pattern before. Fuck, how many lots am I going to add to this? You know what I mean? And then you relate that back to the probability of what you've seen before. It's like I'm not sure. I'm not real good with words, Nick. You know what I mean? You know me. Like just fucking put in the hours, put in the repetition, track what you're doing, and it's there. That's it.
Oh, well, it sounds like you're just saying people just need to go out and just essentially you're just saying get experience, but in a different way. You're just saying get the repetition, do it over and over again, watch what happens over and over. You're actually convinced that people just do this, that that is like a viable way to actually get profitable and become proficient, like someone like you, for example, who's making hundreds of thousands of dollars so far trading.
The main thing that I will say is this: you need to disconnect, right? You need to be stoic. You need to be able to see the patterns. You need to be able to see the repetitions for what they are. Don't associate money to it. Don't associate percentages to it. You need to be able to see the probability of success to that point of view. Okay. So if you see a chart pattern, if you see fuck, I don't know, overextended or underextended, whatever you want to call it. You know, if you see something that you have tested and you know is going to be successful, put your balls on the line. I mean, don't put your balls on the line, but put your balls on the line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
You
know what I
could
mean?
go in with some position sizing. If you quote know what you believe is reasonably likely to occur, you're just saying like take the trade, go in, and then it sounds like you're just suggesting like put some sizing on it, like some position sizing.
Yeah, but at the same time, like people need to understand it's not so much about the statistical, like the stats, right?
Mhm.
It's more a mental game. I've spoke to you about this as well, right? So it's more a mental game. Like people need to disconnect from the numbers on the screen. Like if you take a position and you're staring at your P&L and you're saying, "Oh fuck, I'm down like $1,000." Oh fuck, you know what I mean? Like you need to disconnect from that. Like you need to trust in the theory, you need to trust in the statistics, and you need to trust in the probability. You need to trust in like fuck, I've seen this before. I know what's going to happen. Like, you need to have a certain sort of like arrogance, like cockiness. You know what I mean? Like, and you'll come undone. You will come undone, 100%. But at the same time, man, you will make some money. Like, the biggest thing that I will push on this interview, Nick, is like you need to disconnect from your relationship with the dollar value that you see when you trade. Yeah. Whether it's you're trading a $10, $100, $1,000, fuck, man, 100K, whatever. Doesn't matter. Look at it in percentages. Look at it in percentages. Just, yeah.
This
I get
gets
lost. I get lost in my words, bro.
no.
So,
I understand putting something as subjective as trading into words, especially in an attempt to help another human understand, is sometimes an unbelievably difficult process to do unless you're very skilled at vocabulary and expression, and you also have kind of the self-awareness to be able to proper chase down and pinpoint what it actually is that you're trying to say. So I completely understand, right? I struggle myself to put things into words sometimes because of the inherent nature of something like trading. What you said about being able, like, trading is more of a mental game, an emotional game, a psychological game. I think that's the perfect segue into talking about one of the huge losses you've had, because you've had multiple huge ridiculous wins. You've had some huge withdrawals that you've shown me, and then also you've had some pretty huge losses at times as well. Let's talk about one of the most recent ones, which was Euro AUD. But
Oh,
since I don't have a screenshot handy, let's go back through the pain. Let's talk about. I think this is probably one of your most painful losses you've ever had. Was this occurring? I'm gonna pull it up here so that I'm gonna force you to relive your PTSD, your trauma. This is gonna be more like a therapy session than an interview, and we're gonna talk through this. So, man, I don't even know where to start. Just I'm gonna let you start wherever you want to start on this. You got into cells, you had this all planned out, you had multiple cells, and then you cut all of those cells right here, effectively just before your entire trading idea just played out. This is quite the fucking conundrum because I mean you were right? Eventually it did have a reversion and come back, but you were wrong first before you were right, and because of that, it caused you to take a loss. I'm
you
not even.
know, in Mexico, we call you a cunt for bringing this up.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing, man. We have to take it in,
Listen,
right?
uh, yeah, yeah, this is brutal, this trade, but it's
Here's
all right. I mean, if you look at it now, it was even more than that. It was like another 400 pips, 500 pips.
it. It's
This was like if you look at charts now,
this is probably. I mean, this has to be. Yeah, I mean, let's go. This is a
dude, like, no,
105.
so like, go back from that. Like, I'm touching my screen here. I'm touching it. Go back, go back. Other
Here.
screen, yeah, and measure from where I cut out to the low point, or like let's say 75. No, I go 75% of the low point.
Yeah, like a little over 1,000.
Even go up to that little like consolidation point. Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? 800 pips.
Yeah, and then 800 pips at like what did you have, like 100 standard lots? Like how heavy
I
were you?
had like 130 lots.
Oh my God, dude. So I mean, this was what you were looking at was this is when it was right up here. This is what you were looking at before all of this had happened, right? And of course, I myself was short on this as well, and I lost money on this just because I didn't size properly either, right?
Uh,
I was in way too heavy.
why are you making me relive this?
I was looking here. We got to work past our PTSD, man. We're grown men. We've got mommy issues. We're trying to become the best we can. We have to look at shit like this in order
I
to.
would hate some issues, bro.
It's just.
Fuck.
But I mean, we were looking at this, right? I remember every moment of this trade, right?
I remember the conversation with this.
We had
And
started.
it was that breakout. It was that breakout. It was that breakout of that high. I'm just like, nah,
Yeah,
fuck. And I
106.
actually remember I was at training and like the shit hit the bed. Yeah,
And
fucking hell.
to be fair, it didn't really go into that much drawdown. Like I'm trying to talk in terms of relativity here. Like this spike here, right? This was one of your biggest trades ever. Is 630 pips. You started your position here, then you added another one up here, and then it had a quick reversion, and you were out, and you
Yeah.
made like 100 grand in effectively a day. You had entered the first one on a Friday, but obviously it was like right before market closed, just so that you were short. But then you added that 50 lot when it spiked in at market open, then it crashed very quickly, and you made a huge profit. But I mean, that right there, right? That's like a 485 pip drop. The spike up was 640 pips. The spike up from here to here was, I mean, it was about the same sort of thing, wasn't it? Like 600 pips, right? Because this is right before it crashed.
I can't look at it, Nick.
Well, I'm gonna have to look at it
Nah,
for
I'm
you.
all right.
gonna have to tie you down. I'm gonna have to put your horse mask back on you. You're gonna have to look at it through the lens of the horse mask. You had added all up in here, anticipating a reversion, and I mean, you had added. It's
Go back to the daily. Look at the daily.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's literally like every emotion is screaming like, yeah, this is ready to drop. But people were saying, remember, people were saying all sorts of stuff. The Bank of Japan's not going to intervene. It's not going to crash. It's going to keep on going up another 1,000 pips.
But the thing is this, right? It was a huge loss.
Mhm.
You got to remember, I was an EJ as well at the same time, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I
So,
document, I record it, and then if the same situation happens again, I've got trades documented, recorded on all time frames, everything. I'll refer to it. I don't know now. Like if they like, I need to wait. You need to wait for a reversal signal, and then you go balls deep.
but in this, like, where would that have applied? Because this right here, right, these are all the positions. Let's say, right, that you were not able to enter those positions. You're waiting for a reversal signal. This is what happened, right? This came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, but I've not been in that trade before, though, Nick.
Say that again.
I've not been in that situation of a trade before.
Oh, where it just quickly takes off without really giving you a chance to do
Just
anything.
luck. Yeah.
I mean, this was one candle in the four, which recovered like half of the net basket of where all your trades were. You were in here, 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 all the way up, and then you didn't really even have a lot of time to kind of make a decision there.
Oh, dude, to be honest, I was at training and I come out of training, I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Mhm. Yeah, and then even if just with that move alone, right? Just in the 1 week when that happened, right? A couple candles here on the daily. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is literally one trading week. The whole move, it recovered all positions. You would have made so much money on these positions up here, and then your original positions would have been broken even on and actually gone into a profit because your first position was sitting right around 106, right? So it was like right here. That was your first position, 106. It went against you. You did everything you would have normally done. I think a big question here in terms of like risk management is you were in about 130 lots on this. What total position size with all the ads and everything would you have had to have been in for this to have been comfortable to where you would not have closed the trade? What position size, if you could go back and sort of amend this, what position size total would you have used?
Oh, it's a tricky question.
Yeah, what ifs are very tricky questions because who the fuck knows?
Yeah, but hindsight's 50-50, yeah. So you can't get a straight answer from that, man.
I guess if you're being intellectually honest, it's hard to give a straight answer because it's easy to say, "Oh yeah, I would have used 20 lots or something," and then it would have worked out. You might not have made
Yeah,
a
but I fucking know the result, yeah. So like,
yeah. Well, so is there anything that you would have done differently had you gone back into this at all? Is that even a thing?
no. But the thing is, moving forward,
Mhm.
I will.
Yeah.
So moving forward now, like I've got a track record of like all these JPY. Man, we all know that JPY is a fucking powder keg. That shit goes off. Yeah. So I've got a track record of everything. Like all I can say is this. You need to keep records. You need to keep track of what the fuck you are doing. Yeah. What
Mhm.
you've seen, what you don't like, it's like anything. So now I know, like I did my tits on that, like 100K.
Mhm.
Like if I'm going back in on a JPY pair that's overextended, I'm going back to look at what I did wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going back and looking at what I did wrong and what I could do better. And then I'm going in harder. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's like anything.
If there was someone that was going to try to emulate kind of like just the general idea of what you're doing, right? They're waiting on price to go really far in one direction, trying to get in at where they think it's going to reverse somewhere to profit from the pullback, potentially even adding to it if it continues to go against them and goes to better prices. If someone was trying to emulate this with like, let's say like a $1,000 account, what position sizes would you suggest that person use from the starting point to try to like start building up this like this repetition that you speak of? What kind of position sizing on a $1,000 account?
I've got no idea, Nick. It's down to the person. Like how much money you want to risk. Like it's not up to me. It's up to them. Yeah, you want to risk 100%, do it. You want to risk 10%, whatever. Work out your own risk.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
So like, I mean, it sounds like you probably wouldn't suggest 10 standard lots on a 1K account, blow the account so quickly. I can't say the
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, maybe like keep it relative to okay, sorry, man. Yeah, all right. I didn't understand your question. Yeah. So yeah, keep it relative to the size. Like, it's very hard to explain. Like, because like, if you like Nick, you know, like how I trade. I trade on intuition, repetition. That's what I preach. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen it before. I'm happy to go in hard. If you've not seen it before, fuck, just do like, I don't want to be that like 1% wanker. You know what I mean? Like, just, just, I don't know. Honestly, this is a question that you need to work out on your own.
Mhm. Yeah, but one of the things I've always said for people to do when it comes to something like this is like just use a demo account for like 6 to 12 months just to build up this kind of experience. You call it repetition, I call it experience, but we're talking about the same thing. That way on a demo account, like they can fuck up, right? So they can watch the crazy shit happen that you and I have watched happen live accounts. Like I'm down like 150 grand past 2 months. You're down like over 200 grand past 2 months, but we're still in like huge profits on
Hey, 206. 206.
6. We cannot fucking forget about this extra $6,000. That is hard-earned money. That takes you like what, an entire month of working part-time at the strip club, right?
Dude, that's like 2 weekends.
Oh, okay. I
But I
should.
will say one thing, right? I will say one thing where I disagree with you on this is that I do believe that like demo accounts give you a false sense of security.
Ooh.
Okay. So there is a big mental aspect on how you go about your relationship with money.
Mhm.
Okay. So for me, if I go and trade like $20,000, but I've worked that $20,000, I've done a 9 to 5 for fucking, 2, 3 months. The relationship that I have to that money is different. Okay. But if you're just going to go and trade like a demo account, you don't really know what it feels like to lose it. So like my point of view is that like, fuck that. Like you need to put your dick on the line. You need to put your balls on the line. Throw 1,000 in there, right? And structure your trades in a way that like this is $1,000 that I'm going to learn how to like handle trading. Okay, so like I'm going to lose it. I'm probably going to lose it. Like you need to understand, like the first time you throw $1,000 in an account, you're probably going to lose it. But you need to understand like that relationship between like money, the numbers in the MetaTrader in the terminal. When you see the money going up and down, up and down, up and down, you need to like realize that's fucking nothing. Like it can go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. But like your thesis is still the same.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like demo accounts to me, this is probably the only place where I'll go against the grain here, Nick. It's like demo accounts to me are bullshit, right? They give you a false sense of like you're able to achieve something. Okay, you're able to achieve it, but like mentally, you're not able to achieve it at all. Yeah.
Mhm.
Trading is more mental than it is anything else. Do you like for me, right? I lost what 200K the other day, Nick.
206. 206.
You know what I was doing when I lost 206K?
What were you
I
doing?
was walking around the fucking lake.
Just pissing about in the woods?
No, I was actually on the other side and all my alarms started going off. But whatever. But it's relative, you know what I mean? Like you need to disconnect. Like you need to disconnect from the numbers and you need to disconnect from that relationship mentally with how you feel with the money. Like when I go into a trade now, I don't care if it's like $100, $1,000, $100,000, $1,000,000. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like it's the mental aspect. Like I look at it and percentages and like the probability of playing out. I don't care like the dollar signs. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing that most people don't understand.
So it sounds like what you're saying is instead of doing the whole demo account thing and it's not real money, so there's no sort of emotional connection, what you're saying is instead to ensure that the experience is developed in the context of like that relationship to the money. You worked for that money, even if it's like just $1,000 or something. You personally think it's better to just like deposit the money into the account, then still structure everything the same way, use position sizes that are, relative to the account balance and leverage that you have, structure everything like you normally would, just proportionally. But that way, whenever you're seeing the P&L fluctuate back and forth, that gives you like you have a little bit of skin in the game and you actually get to build the trading experience, but also within the context of the emotions that are inevitably going to come with that, no matter how big or how small the dollar amount is. And you think that this is more reflective of the reality that will help teach people how to become profitable traders because of the fact that they get to feel that little bit of emotion from the P&L fluctuating. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but you are so articulate.
Still learning, man.
Nah, mate. Like you need to disconnect from what you see on the screen.
Mhm.
That's it. That's it. I think we all know that like when you actually go from demo to real money, the whole game changes. The whole game changes. I mean, you can promote like do it on demo, do this, but like on demo, you're loose. On demo, you are fucking loose, yeah. Your risk management is different, your lot sizing is different, everything is different, yeah. But that relationship mentally with the money, with that dollar sign that you see going up and down until you can like fuck that off. You know what I mean? Like fuck that off.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not as articulate as you. You know that. Like,
Yeah.
but until you can fuck that off and like realize what you're doing is like you're looking for prices to go up and down, and you need to trust your thesis. This is your thesis. I think the price is going here. What am I going to do if the price does not go here? I'm going to do X. Okay. If that doesn't work out, Y. Blah, 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 blah. It's fucking mass. Like it's not. Yeah.
Mhm. What I've heard this whole call, man, is that you've been saying all these things, right, that have clearly worked for you in practice. I mean, you show your accounts and everything all the time. We've had no numerous conversations at length and stuff on all this stuff. Um, but what works for you seems to really go against the grain from a lot of the common public conversation that we're having around things like sort of like technical analysis, fundamental analysis. Make sure you have a good risk reward, risk no more than 1% of your account per trade, have a set defined risk per trade, have black and white trading rules. Like from what you've said on this call, it seems as though you're doing none of that. Do you think that any of this, the fact that you're not doing what kind of the common knowledge is and common practices are, do you think any of that has contributed to the fact that you have gotten a disproportional amount of success trading?
That's a very interesting question. I'm not too sure actually. Like I like my thing is I don't pay much attention to other people. I don't pay much attention to other shit.
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't really other people's opinions are their opinions. Like don't get me wrong, like this is probably where me and you differ is like, I pay attention to a lot of economic news. But like I kind of nerd out. Like I enjoy watching like the US implode, and then and then like I enjoy this. So,
Yeah.
but trading wise, man, like I trade on the high time frames. So like, who gives a fuck?
Mm.
Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna like take a take a spike of like 100-200 pips, whatever. I'll fucking add in. You know what I mean? Like,
I'll add in.
unless unless you like August 6th and then like you get balls fucking broken and margin called, but like okay, you take that lesson and you learn from it and then you move forward. So not really, man.
Yeah, it sounds like you haven't really. So you've clearly just said like you don't really pay attention to what everyone else is doing. You don't care what other people's opinions are. There are inevitably going to be people like in the very comments of this YouTube video that despite all of your massive success, there will be people saying, "Oh, this is just a matter of time before this guy blows up. It's just a bit. This guy's not profitable. He's on a lucky streak. There's no way this could work." And some people might outright think that this is just all fake and all fabricated to begin with. And what you're telling me is that in the midst of all that, you just don't even care?
Not really. I don't give a fuck what people say.
You just do what works for you and you just disregard everything else.
I'm up over 400% on the year. So why the fuck would I care what somebody else says to me?
It's an answer that is very hard for a critic to respond to, indeed.
I don't know, Nick. Like I come from like a place where like you need to prove yourself. Yeah.
Mm.
So I mean, criticism's criticism. Yeah, you can criticize me as much as you want.
Mhm.
Yeah, until you put your fucking proof on the table and show me you're better than me. Fuck off. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is what I do. This is it. It works for me. Okay. But if you've got another, if somebody else has another structure or a strategy or anything that works and it's working for them, no problems. I'm open to listen to it. I'm 100, like I'm an open book, bro. You know that. Like I will listen to anybody. I will help anybody. But you know what I mean? Like I'm all here to help everybody. This is how I do it. How you guys want to do it, up to you.
Mhm. I guess this is a good spot to wrap up, and I want to end with this. If you could
Good,
give
because I'm busting for a piss.
if you could give one suggestion to people to help them get what you believe to be profitable in a more efficient, more quick way,
You
what
already know the answer to this.
I just want it said so that way we can put a staple at the very end of the call and leave it in the last thing in the people's minds. What suggestion would you give to people to help them achieve what you have achieved so far?
Repetition.
Repetition.
Document. Document everything that you've done.
Mhm.
But don't be like Rain Man document. You know what I mean? Like, don't be a fucking Rain Man document. Like, take that daily, take the 4 hour, put it in like Evernote or whatever the fuck you're gonna use. Just put it somewhere that like next time, like when you see the same pattern, you can like type it in and say, oh fuck, I've seen this before. What happened before? You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's what happened. Oh, I wonder if that's gonna happen again. Fucking hell. It's not rocket science. It's not fucking rocket science. But no, I honestly, one word, repetition, repetition.
Repetition.
Two
Just
words. Actually, wait, no. Sorry, Nick. I'll put a second word on there.
uh,
Repetition, review.
okay. Rep
Repetition and review.
so people just doing the same things over and over again repeatedly and then looking back on what happened so that way they can sort of like optimize around kind of doing a little bit more of what seems to work and then doing less of what seems to not work very well.
I'm going to ask you a question, Nick. If a doctor was going to come into you and do heart surgery, do you think you'd want him to be like have done it before?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would
And
prefer.
probably reviewed what went wrong when the cunt died before.
It
Come on, man. It's fucking common knowledge. It's fucking basic.
is extremely basic. Unfortunately, in our society, especially in the trading world, common knowledge is not common practice. And so it's good to say these things out loud that experience, repetition, tracking, reviewing, doing more of what works, less of what doesn't, learning from the fuck ups and failures and mistakes. Simply
But it's
say,
every single job. It's every single job is the same. Every single task is the same. If you want to be good at anything in life, you need to do repetition. You need to be repetition. You need to review where you went wrong. It's anything in life. Trading is a fucking business. Trading is the same as anything else. It's repetition, review, move forward.
we can end it there. Repetition, review, and then move forward. Jose, it has been a pleasure being able to do this interview with you. Thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule, stripping at the strip club to be able to do this call with me.
Fasting for a piss, man.
Cheers.